Okay, now let's talk a little bit before I get into the specific colors that I talk about. Let's talk about some things that influence the color of soft plastic that's going to work. Now, first of all, probably the number one thing is your water clarity. Water clarity is going to be a huge factor in the shade and the hue of a worm. Say, for example, if you're fishing really clear water, you're going to do a lot better in a more natural color like a green pumpkin or a watermelon than you will like a black color. That's just the reality of fishing. And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you're fishing muddy water or dirty water that say has 8 or 10 inches of visibility, your darker lures are going to outproduce the more light colored lures because a dark lure will silhouette more in off colored or low light conditions, and the bass can pick it up a little bit easier. And then you have your gradients in between there. You've got the clear water environment, dirty water environment, and then you've got so many different color options that sort of meet in the middle there. So in addition to the lure color being determined by the water clarity, there's also other things. Light intensity is a big one. The light intensity for a large degree is determined upon the time of the day and the cloud cover that you have. I mean, with the sun being at different angles at different times of the day, you're going to have some lower light conditions like at 7 o'clock in the morning than you will up at noon. So that's going to be a big determining factor there. And then you have a lot of different levels of light intensity that is determined by clouds or lack of clouds, because you can have anything from a sunny day with no clouds, no particulate in the air to really bright out, or you can have a super low light day, like a rainy, dark, rainy day, and then you got everything in between, different levels of light intensity. So the combination of those varying light intensities and different times of the day in correlation with your water clarity is going to determine the best color of lure soft plastic lure to use. And also the tint of the water has a big part of it. You guys may have heard me talk about this before, but water can be clear and it can have different tints to it. It can be clear and have a greenish tint. It can be clear and have a bluish tint. It can be clear and have a tannic acid, sort of a black water looking tint. So depending upon the particulate, the algae, the plankton, all those variables will determine tint, and tint also determines different colors of soft plastics. So without getting too intimidating, I'm going to go over with you guys some of my favorite colors of soft plastics and sort of tell you a little bit about when I like those particular ones. So we'll get into that. Okay, first of all, one of my favorite is just a solid black. Solid black